First of all, it's important to understand the difference between strategies and staking systems. Strategies have to do with using statistics, research, and observation to choose bets that are most likely to win. Staking systems have to do with changing the amount you're wagering on each bet to try to maximize your winnings. Both can be useful, so let's start with some of the most popular strategies and then we'll move on to staking systems. Betting the middle is a great strategy for betting point spreads, but it takes hard work to do it successfully. First, you have to find two different point spreads for the same game, either by shopping around at different sites or by betting on a point spread and watching it to see if it changes as the game gets closer. If you can find two spreads for the same game that span a whole number like minus 3.5 and minus 2.5, for example, you have an opportunity to make winning bets on both teams at the same time. Sound crazy? Well, here's how it works. Say you're betting NFL point spreads and you take Atlanta to beat Washington at plus 3.5. If that line moves down a point, you can bet on Washington to win at minus 2.5 as well. If Washington ends up winning by exactly 3 points, both your bets win. Betting against the public is exactly what it sounds like. When a big majority of bettors are putting action on the same side of a bet, statistics say you're better off betting against them. There are a few reasons it works. First, sports gamblers in general don't do a lot of research. They usually bet on their favorite teams or the one that the media is hyping up to win. In the NFL, for example, when at least 70% of the public is betting on one team to win, they're wrong almost 55% of the time. The zigzag theory is a really clever strategy, and when used properly, it can be really effective. This strategy works best for betting on NBA and NHL playoffs because teams play 7-game series and have to fly back and forth between home and away games. There are different ways to use the zigzag theory, but perhaps the best is when the favorite loses at home in the first game of the series. Historical NBA data shows that when the favorite is coming off a loss and playing game 2 at home, they win 75% of the time. Now that we've covered a few of the most common betting strategies, let's look at the 3 most popular staking systems. We'll start with the most conservative and move up to the most aggressive. For all of these systems, we're going to use bets that are as close to even money as possible. Point spread and over-unders are good choices, or money lines where the odds are close to plus or minus 100 for both teams. Fixed stake betting means betting the same amount every time, no matter what bet you're making. This is a great system for beginners because it's the least risky. Your bankroll will go further and you'll have more time to learn from your successes and failures. Choosing your bet size depends on how much you have in your bankroll. If you want to be conservative, bet only 2% of your bankroll at a time. If you want to be more aggressive, choose a bigger percentage. The martingale system is a bit more complicated. It's designed to give you a small win almost every time you use it, but it does come with some risk. To use the martingale, first choose a base betting unit. We recommend less than 5% of the total money you have for betting. Start by betting 1 unit. Now, every time you lose a bet, double your wager on the next bet. If you win, go back to betting 1 unit. Since you're always doubling your bet after a loss, it only takes 1 win to get you a small profit. As long as you have the bankroll to survive a string of losses, chances are you won't keep losing forever. The downside of the martingale is that if you get unlucky and have a lot of losses in a row, the amount you have to bet to get back to even can get big really fast. Parlay betting can mean a few different things in sports betting, but they're all closely related. Imagine you bet on the first NFL game on Sunday and win. Parlaying your win means taking your winnings and betting them all on your next wager. You can keep doing this as many times as you want and your winnings keep multiplying. The downside is that if you lose just 1 bet, you lose everything. Sportsbooks also let you combine multiple bets into 1 ticket. That's called a parlay 2, and it works the same way. Your winnings from each bet are multiplied, but just 1 losing bet and you lose the entire ticket.